So today in today's video, we're going to be looking in depth at the royal family's uniform, why they wear them, and also what they represent. So this video was recommended by one of our amazing community members who wanted us to do a video about the history and the meaning behind the royal family's military uniform and their ceremonial uniform. So yeah, I've done the research, so here's the video. But I would also like to take this time to say a massive thank you to every single one of my amazing audience that continues to support the channel, continues to support each other, continues to spread love and kindness. So thank you so much to each and every single one of you. You are all amazing and I'm so grateful to have such an incredible audience, so thank you. Anyway, without further ado, let's get into the video. So first up in this video, let's have a deeper look at the ceremonial uniform of King Charles III's coronation. So King Charles III was coronated on the 6th of May 2023, and the first appearance we saw of King Charles III during his coronation was when he was wearing the robe of state. So the King's robe of state was made of crimson velvet and was originally worn by the King's late grandfather, King George VI, at his coronation in 1937. So back on the 6th of May 2023, when King Charles III arrived for his coronation, he was spotted wearing the crimson coronation tunic, and this was handcrafted by Eden Ravenscroft, which is a historic outfitter with a long history of creating ceremonial uniforms for the royal family. It's composed of the Order of Bath satin and trimmed in gold artillery lace. The design takes inspiration from tunics worn by King George V and King George VI. So you may have noticed that also on the 6th of May 2023 last year, a lot of King Charles III's military, sort of personnel were wearing this piece of clothing. This is made by Cashkent Partners, and they are Tottenham based, and they make a lot of the royal family sort of military uniform for historic ceremonies, including the coronation. Also, another part that was part of King Charles III's coronation uniform were his Royal Navy trousers, and these are part of his Royal Navy uniform. The reason why he wore that is because he served within the Royal Navy. So King Charles III, for those who don't know, he served in the Royal Navy between 1971 and 1976, and he has now been made the Commander-in-Chief of the Royal Navy. King Charles III has actually held this rank since 2022. King Charles III also holds the title of Lord Admiral as well for his service within the Royal Navy. Before King Charles III held this title, his late mother, Queen Elizabeth II, held it. Another part of King Charles III's ceremonial uniform during the coronation was a stole royal. This was added specifically during the crowning and is the only newly created item in the King's wardrobe for his coronation back in 2023. So it was made by the Royal School of Needlework and takes inspiration from a design worn by the late Queen Elizabeth II in 1953. The ceremonial piece comprises of a gold twisted fringe and a series of roundels applied to cloth of gold. Each roundel features a design with 4 emblems of the United Kingdom, which is a rose, thistle, leek and shamrock. So during the ceremony last year within Westminster Abbey, King Charles III donned the Super Tunica, which is a historic garment of gold silk, and that was originally made for the coronation of King George V in 1911, and later donned by the late Queen Elizabeth II at her coronation. After the king was crowned, there was another change of dress, which saw him don the robe of estate and purple coronation tunic, a shift over from the robe of state and the crimson tunic. The robe was worn by the king's late grandfather, King George VI, in 1937, and was conserved and looked after by Eden Ravenscroft. So we're carrying on looking at the ceremonial uniform of King Charles III's coronation, which happened on the 6th of May 2023. We're carrying on with the Prince of Wales, who wore the ceremonial dress uniform of the Welsh Guards to represent his role as Colonel of the regiment. The uniform was crafted in Hainsworth with intricate embroidery and gold wire on the collar, cuffs and back skirts. A silver leek adorned the collar as the emblem of the Welsh Guards, while the badge on his chest is the pilot wings in recognition of his time flying helicopters. The sash was the most ancient and most noble order of the Thistle, and alongside that was the most noble order of the Garter, for which Prince William is part of both of them. Moving on next to the Princess of Wales, and at the coronation last year she wore the Royal Victorian Order mantle, which is made from dark blue silk satin edged with scarlet and lined with white silk taffeta. There was also a hand embroidered badge and a hood attached to the right shoulder. So the mantle represents her status as a Dame Grand Cross of the Royal Victorian Order, which was established in 1896 by Queen Victoria in recognition of distinguished personal service to the British monarch. The Princess of Wales was inducted into the Royal Victorian Order in 2019. So we're moving on to Princess Anne now, who wore the Thistle mantle over her Blues and Royals uniform, and this is representing the Order of the Thistle, which is the greatest order of chivalry in Scotland. To add to her lavish outfit, The Princess Royal wore a mantle which was rendered in deep green silk velvet with a lining of white taffeta, a blue velvet hood and a hand-embroidered badge. So back in 2023, again, when King Charles III got crowned, his brother, the Duke of Edinburgh, who's also a member of the Order of the Garter, wore a blue silk velvet mantle with white satin ribbon over his mourning dress. It was made by London's oldest tailor, Eden Ravenscroft, which has been making mantles for all of the orders of chivalry since 1689. The Duchess of Edinburgh, meanwhile, was wearing the dark blue red-trimmed Royal Victorian Order mantle over her Susanna dress. She was made a Dame Grand Cross of the Historic Order back in 2010. So obviously, up next we have the Page Boys, who played a starring role during King Charles III's coronation last year, and one of them included Prince George, who is the son of the Prince of Wales and the Princess of Wales, and the eldest grandson of King Charles III. So the Page Boys at King Charles III range from about 9, for which Prince George at the time was 9 years old, to about 13, 14 years old. So yes, Prince George was the youngest page boy at last year's coronation of King Charles III and Queen Camilla. So yes, the Pages of Honours were wearing a knee-length scarlet coat with gold trimmings over a white satin waistcoat and lace jabot, which is a decorative ruffle or frill that falls from the collar. So at King Charles III and Queen Camilla's coronation, all the page boys wore sort of a modern twist of the original page boy outfit, but it still had the look of the original page boy outfit, which is steeped in centuries-old British tradition. So the historical meaning behind the Pages of Honour is they're supposed to look after and protect the king and or queen, and they're supposed to look after the king and or queen's robes. Right, we're now moving on to Troop in the Colour. Okay, so Troop in the Colour, they wear a lot of different outfits depending on the sort of regiment they're representing. This is because Troop in the Colour has always been military-based. So at last year's Troop in the Colour, King Charles III and his son, the Prince of Wales, wore the Irish Guards ceremonial uniform. So obviously, Troop in the Colour has 5 regiments, which take turns annually to basically be troops. So they are the Grenadier, Coldstream, Scots, Irish and Welsh Guards. So I think it's depending on what regiment is doing what year, the royal family will wear their ceremonial uniform. So during 2023's Troop in the Colour, King Charles III and the Prince of Wales wore the Irish Guard ceremonial uniform. Meanwhile, Queen Camilla wore the Grenadier Guards uniform, and the Princess of Wales paid homage to the Irish Guards. She did this by wearing a green outfit. And according to reports, Prince George, Princess Charlotte and Prince Louis wore a little bit of red and blue in their outfit to pay homage to the Welsh Guards. And Princess Anne, at almost every Troop in the Colour, she wears the Royal Navy ceremonial uniform, which represents her role in that division of the army. So sometimes as part of massive state events or part of the Troop in the Colour, King Charles III and his son, the Prince of Wales, will opt to wear the Royal Air Force's ceremonial uniform to reflect their roles within the Royal Air Force. Another part of King Charles III and the Prince of Wales' military wardrobe is their Royal Navy uniform, and again, they wear this to represent their role within the Royal Navy. Many people have been asking what was King Charles's uniform at the D-Day event in Normandy a couple of days ago, and I think it's part of the Parachute Regiment. So according to reports, the Parachute Regiment are the airborne and infantry regiment of the British Army. So obviously, I don't exactly know why King Charles III decided to wear this uniform, but he is Colonel-in-Chief of the Parachute Regiment, which probably explains briefly why he wore this uniform. So the Parachute Regiment, they were started up in 1942. So seeing as D-Day was in 1944, they may have played a role in D-Day, and perhaps that explains why King Charles III decided to wear this uniform. We don't particularly know, but we don't usually see him in this uniform. So another uniform that the royal family has is the Royal Marines uniform, and this is worn by those who have either served or have a role within the Royal Marines. The Royal Marines uniform is pretty easy to spot because it's bright white. Up next, we've got the Household Cavalry uniform. A lot of royals wear this, although I can't find a lot of photos of it. But yes, I can only find Prince Harry wearing it. This is probably because Prince Harry had a role within the Household Cavalry. Obviously he doesn't anymore because he's no longer a working member of the royal family, but yeah, that's the uniform. Up next, we've got the Blues and Royals uniform, which is also known as the Officer and Gentleman attire. So those who wear the Blues and Royals uniform wear a blue lanyard on the left shoulder, as well as a Sam Brown belt containing a whistle. A ceremonial sword is a key component of the tropical dress of the regiment. We've usually seen this on Prince William and his brother Prince Harry, again, no longer a working royal, but yes, he has worn this uniform. I don't think there is a code to wearing this uniform, I think they just wear them at special events and ceremonies. Another uniform that the royals wear sometimes is a military uniform of the Blues and Royals, and this is a regiment of the cavalry formed in 1969, for which King Charles, I think, is now the colonel. This uniform has also played a big part in Prince Harry's wedding back in 2019, and little Prince George, who was then 4, was wearing a smaller version of it. So yes, that is the end of the video. We have tried to cover as many of the regiment's uniforms as possible. Obviously, there are tons more, but we just want to give you a brief idea of what they look like and some of the royal family's most used ones. So yes, we hope that video helped you understand a few of the royal family's military uniforms, and yes. So yes, we hope you enjoyed that informative video, and yeah, we hope you have a wonderful rest of your day wherever you are, and we hope to see you in the next one. Bye!